everyone. Welcome out to the Cars, Bars, and Guitars podcast, episode number 50.
Number L.
Yay! We were going to do this on location, but the semantics didn't work out, and we're going to do it on 51. I'm AJ.
And I'm Steve.
Steve, who are we brought to you today by?
2010. Yeah. What year are we?
Yes.
Which brings me to the next point. 2020 is out to such a bad start. I envy the blind.
It could be worse. Thomas's 2020 is off to a pretty shitty start also. Something emergency vet, emergency surgery, $8,000 on dog.
Goodness.
And then they decided to fix their dog. They were going to keep Traveler. Traveler was intact, and they fixed him without saying anything. What? Yeah. Oh, Thomas is not happy with these people, and for good reason. Like, you know, they say that
You can't say neutered without new turd.
Mm-hmm. Well, here's to hoping 2020 gets better. That's what we're doing. This is like our therapy. And Steve, what are we drinking today? This is brand new. Never seen it. Never had it.
So what we have here is the Irishman Founder's Reserve. Small batch Irish whiskey.
Irish whiskey, Irish whiskey, Irish whiskey.
I can't see me say the first time. A unique vetting using 70% aged single malt and single pot still, 70 and 30%. Whiskey with intense aroma and complexity, giving a classic extra smooth taste. A creation by founder Bernard Walsh. This is really difficult to read in gold in this dim lighting.
I'm going to update the lighting in here because it's kind of rubbish.
Yep.
So I'll be getting right on that.
Brought to you by Di Serono.
The same people that make
At least imported by.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense because like Di Serono's Italian.
Yeah, it's
Italian Irish whiskey.
The liqueur.
I don't remember the last Italian and Irish mix-up, or the mash-up, rather, but it sounds like it would be good. Bangers and mashed pasta. That's fair.
Sounds banging.
Fuck. Well, never had this before. Might be getting more into Irish whiskey since Emily and I are very strongly considering going to Ireland in May.
Sweet.
Yeah. She's like, I think we should save up for it. I'm like, I think we should go before the world ends. Well, here you go, Steve. Sláinte. Cheers. Namaste.
All that jazz.
Yes. Ooh.
Yep.
That is incredibly smooth. Like, that's really smooth. It's also, survey says, $27. Yeah.
Price is right, Bob.
The price is way right. That is fantastic. That's a really good sipper right there. I wouldn't even want to mix. I don't think you really mix Irish whiskey with anything except, what, a car bomb?
Yeah.
What's a car bomb?
Or an ice cube of actual cubic dimension.
Car bomb's what? Guinness, Bailey's, and Irish whiskey. Okay.
Yeah.
But I guess mostly it's Jameson, though.
Yeah.
Jameson's Jameson's good, but there's so many good options now that it's just a great time to be an alcoholic.
Drunk. Alcoholics go to meetings.
That is true. Well, Steve, I got a little bit of beer news for you. Are you ready? From Brussels. This is NPR.
Leave the sprouts out of this.
Mini cabbage. It's cabbage sliders.
It's better blackened.
I don't mind it. I just don't like the way it smells.
That was one of those that had to be cooked more properly for me to finally appreciate at, 33.
Asparagus was the same way with that for me. Like, it really has to be done a certain way, or I just don't like it.
Come by the next time I'm setting anything on fire in the grill.
Is it an open invitation?
Yeah, usually the grilling is going to be way past your bedtime, though, but one of these days.
It depends on what day it is, but you're most of the time. Hey, I made it to midnight.
Hell yeah.
Now, I allegedly had too much to drink and to inhale, but I don't remember much of it.
Too many cigars.
But I do remember. Oh, I guess
in fact, I haven't had a day off of work since recovering from New Year's.
Yikes.
That day one, let's drink all the Pepto.
Hey, I guess before we get started with beer news, we also need to tell you about I guess, we always crack cans in there. Let's crack the top of the bottle and see. I brought another special gift for number 50. That's very anticlimactic.
Instead of, oh shit, it's pouring on me.
I got the Founders KBS, but instead of the regular KBS, Steve, it is
the Founders highly acclaimed KBS, a flavored stout espresso flavor.
Yes, and cheers for that. It makes a better noise than the cans
also,
when it does that. Yes. Oh, that might be the best KBS I've ever had. That's excellent.
Groovy.
That's really good. I mean, they might all be racist, but actually, no. I don't even know much about that story, but we did talk about it on here, but I've already forgotten it. It must not be that big of news because it hasn't been in the news.
Yeah, much like whatever the Bell versus Innovation was.
It got dropped.
It was like Michigan Brewer's going to fuck up something.
It got dropped. Is there anything of consequence on this Founders bottle that you want to read? Or
it'll say, KBS gets its coffee fix in the very first variant come from our beloved bourbon barrel-aged stout. Yes, KBS may already be brewed with coffee, but some extra oomph when it's aged in espresso beans after being removed from barrels. The result is a fresh and snappy coffee twist on our classic barrel-aged beer. Who says you can't start your day with a barrel-aged stout?
Not me. I never said that.
So beer is not just for breakfast anymore.
So I didn't tell you about mine and Thomas's experience with mushrooms. But, I don't like
favorite pizza topping.
I hate mushrooms. But these were different, if you know what I mean. And not only did I not see the colors of the rainbow or any weird shit, I didn't see anything at all. But I will say, when I laid my head down to sleep that night, it felt like somebody had two really big seashells on each of my ears because I could just hear nothing but ocean noises.
Interesting.
That's all I could hear.
My alleged experience with it was it made my dreams echo.
Okay. But here, did you do it the way they want you to do it? Did you do it the full dose on an empty stomach? Because that's what you're supposed to do. To really...
No, this is all a bunch of Doritos and 6 cheap beers.
Gotcha. Well, yeah, we were drinking too. But evidently, Thomas said the best way to get the effects was to ground up the mushrooms, put it in a shot of lemon juice, and let it marinate for like 30 minutes. By the way, we did that. Boy, that was top 5 most disgusting things I've ever fucking done in my life. Just eating the mushroom, like we staggered the dose and we ate beforehand because he didn't want to do it. I was like, look, the first experience with this doesn't need to be a bad one. So we need to he was very giggly and, but I want to do it again and I'll do it the way it's supposed to be done. But the first time I was like, no, man, we don't know what rabbit hole we're going to go down.
I'll just get in touch with Joe Rogan. I'm sure he can give you some pointers.
And we finally got our trip sitter. We weren't sure if he was coming or not, but Mr. John Vines came by. And but that's another reason. I was like, we don't even know if he's coming yet. I was like, I don't want to be here like having a bad experience and nobody here to calm me down. That's not you. So I'd be happy to do it again. And it was interesting. I felt my blood pressure like drop, and I was really mellow. Just a real chill experience. So I would recommend it.
Yeah, speaking of heart attacks, a buddy of mine in Winston-Salem just had one at 42. Yeah.
Do I know him?
No. It was just one of my state people from way back whenever.
Wow. Is he okay?
Getting there and realizing going to a low-sodium diet completely sucks.
Yeah.
I was like, hope you like garlic, because that's about the closest thing to emulate anything tasty.
Yeah, and the unfortunate part about garlic is if you eat a lot of garlic, you smell like garlic when you sweat. Your sweat smells like garlic. This really fat guy who used to shop at the old store I used to work at, he would go through one of those big jars of garlic every week. All right, now that's doing it right because garlic's awesome. Is there any garlic beer? I don't think there is. Not yet, anyway. They do have a ginger sour, though, at Total Wine, and I almost vomited just looking at it. But you wouldn't drink a garlic beer, would you? You'd try it.
Garlic beer is making me make a face, whereas the ginger sour, I don't completely shoot that down. That's half merit, but it just sounds like a Canada Dry that's gone bad.
It's not too sweet. The taste can't be beat. Do you remember the commercials?
Negative.
that was the tagline for it.
Let's see. What do I have in my arsenal right now? Reed's, Geisling's, Beatles, and Food Lion's ginger ales.
You should do a blind taste test to see if you can guess which one is which and which one you like the best.
Got a feeling the extra strong Reed's is going to win, at least if I knew what it was.
That or Werner's.
Or need to dig up some Blenheim.
Yeah,
that was the first really strong ginger ale I had, and they make an extra hot version too.
Jeez, Werner's is like that in the little glass green bottles.
Mm-hmm.
That shit would peel paint off the walls. It's really, really strong.
So are you going to strip the paint off your walls before you repaint downstairs?
Negative.
Because I've got an idea.
A delicious do body shots off of the wall with ginger ale.
Not now, Brett Kreischer.
Jeez. You know what? I like the podcast and I like it when he's on things, but I can't really get into the humor that much.
It's more stories. You heard The Machine, right?
I've heard the Machine's a good story, but the regular comedy bits they're to me they're a little more frat boy humor. Some of the older, I haven't watched any of the new ones.
Kind of quintessential overgrown frat boy.
I know, but as a person and everything, but I just can't get into the comedy. But Ari, I can't really get into. Now Segura's comedy, I love Segura's comedy.
I remember back when, during the brief period of time, Gray lived down the street from me and not quite South Park. We were looking for something to watch and landed on one of the Segura specials and really enjoyed it.
Oh, was it mostly stories? There's that one. There's Disgraceful. He's got several, and I can't remember all of them, but every one of them are good.
There was on Netflix in spring of 15.
I think that was mostly stories. That one was a good one. I can't remember. God damn, I've watched all of them, but. Steve, I got something to show you. Was it 16? No.
I was trying to think, whenever I moved out of your old house to the Livingston house,
15.
And then he was still in Strawberry Hill until the beginning of 16. Or moved to Still Creek and or the Moon.
Yeesh.
That I gave him so much shit. Dude, the street two blocks over is Walking Stick Lane. That's such a cooler address than what you landed on. Never mind, well, this is a house at a good price and it's not on the market yet, so that's why we bought it. It's fair enough. But Walking Stick Lane would have been cooler.
Yeah, I know that she teaches near there, but he works the polar opposite way.
Uh-huh.
They couldn't have found something in the Mount Holly area or something in the Matthews Mint Hill area to kind of split the difference between
Matthews
the two?
Mint Hill would have been a long way from either.
Yeah, but, it's a really long way for one.
Yep.
I would very seriously...
More time for him to get his aquarium drunkard on the Jeep.
Fair.
The best music podcast you're not listening to. There are a lot of those.
I would very seriously consider buying this had we not just bought a couch. Somebody's calling me.
Hi, somebody.
369. Damn good time. 704-369. That's a 369 number. And you know what? Let's pick it up. Hello?
Goodbye.
Hello. They didn't want to talk to me. The only reason I picked it up is because maybe it was the furniture people, but I already know what day they're coming. I digress. Steve, I give you, if I did not just buy a couch, the Nintendo. Explain what you're seeing to everybody.
It appears that somebody has made an original NES into a guitar.
Yep, it's $400.
Did you see the Sega Genesis synthesizer?
The Genesizer?
Yeah.
No, I didn't. That sounds awesome.
That is such a thing. So I joked saying the revolution will be FM synthesized, which is how and why the Genesis had that distinctive twang to its noise.
Right.
Because it was all FM synthesis instead of the Super Nintendo relying on samples, which often meant the Super Nintendo sounded better. But when the Genesis sounded good, it sounded fantastic. And when it sounded bad, it sounded like a new M-Car, which means...
Wet farts. Interesting. The Nintendo. If that shows up here, Emily will be so upset, but she'll get over it eventually.
I could find you one if you want to build one.
Ooh, that gets strong consideration.
This is a very different variant on Grid Life versus the racing.
I was trying to think of which system would make the better shape of guitar, because the Nintendo's just a box. I also see Super Nintendo. The 64 has a little bit more curves to it.
But still not very conducive. I'm going to go Dreamcast or Jaguar.
Yeah, that seems plausible, because Dreamcast wasn't...
I'm kicking myself for having not picked up a busted Jaguar at the precursor to the Grid when they were still on Freedom Drive.
Right.
They had a busted Jag for like $7 or $10. Just to have that for a shelf piece would have been fantastic.
What would be even better if you made a guitar out of the Jag, you could use the Fender Jaguar headstock and neck, and it would just be fucking awesome.
And then instead of being out $7, I'm out $700 plus labor, and I have no idea what I'm doing. Go on.
Evidently, this is the people that just called me were the Wakefield Collections Agency. It's like some kind of collections agency that's been calling.
I don't see what my future brother-in-law's village in Rhode Island has to do with any of this.
Well,
or even better, I think that's the name of the doctor who was patient 0 for anti-vaccinations. No. Oh, good. He's English, so he sounds intelligent.
Yes.
Oh, shit. Well, here's when... No, you're not.
I looked up my credit score, and it was still hovering in the 815 range, so I don't think I owe anybody any money. If I got turned over to a real collections agency, I'm pretty sure that number would have got dinged a little bit. But they've left me 2 voice messages since December also, which is weird, because I did get my hospital bill for my herniated disc, but I've paid it. One of the bills was like $600, and I paid $300 on it. And then I got another bill for $300, and I paid $150. I'll just keep paying half till it's low enough. I'll just pay the whole thing. I could pay the whole thing off now. I just don't fucking want to.
I can do that with one credit card.
But I just don't want to.
The other one's being what's decimated, but it's doing it to my bank account.
Oh, I don't know what verbiage you would use for that, but I'm not in the red. Like that hospital bill was in November, so if I was really turned over to collections agents in a month and a half, like really, they would
pretty quick.
Yeah, I don't think so.
I think the last collections call I got was
1-800?
long enough. Maybe collect call. And with a cell phone, that's impossible.
Yeah.
Years ago. This is long enough ago, posting an ad in the Raleigh newspaper, and I don't know if it got automatically renewed or something, and they were threatening collections on like a $40 payment. Are you cocking serious?
Jesus Christ. I don't know, it seems like a robocaller. Yeah. I ain't worried about it. They know where they don't know where I live.
They've already got your number.
I don't owe anybody any fucking thing except my house payment and utilities, and those are all paid automatically through auto draft. So I digress.
I'm always hesitant to sign up for auto draft because I'm always concerned I'm not gonna have enough money for it. I do, but I'm always a little worried about that being sapped out.
I was, but I have a number in my checking account that if it goes below that, it sends me an email telling me it's below that. And then I can go, I'll move some from savings to...
Mine are still set to do that, so I get lots of repeat offenses of, you're below blah blah, or your outstanding credit debt is this much. Like, thanks, BB and Fargo. I hate you all.
Have you seen Louis C.K.'s bid on being broke?
Yeah.
Oh my God, that is brilliant.
The magic of overdraft fees.
good.
Like to have no money costs you more money.
Yes. I have negative
fuck.
$10.
A fuck to this.
I have negative $10. I have not 10. If it's free, I can't fucking afford it. Holy shit. Well, Steve, I got some beer news 20 minutes in after this is fucking delicious. Like, properly delicious. You can have some more if you want.
Yeah, but...
Oh, you pacing.
Ostensibly, yes. At least in the show up tonight, if not over the weekend again, too.
So, have you met Kevin Krantz from Poor 64?
No.
Okay, he's a super nice guy. Former Marine. Girlfriend's way shorter than Emily. Yeah, Emily likes hanging out with her. No, they're really cool. They both started listening to the podcast.
I bet they both hate Randy Newman. Probably.
They both started listening to the podcast, and Leanne said, it's funny because I'll be sitting at work, and then I'll just start giggling, and everybody looks at me. But Kevin's like, you know what, though? He goes, you guys are consistent, because Steve says ostensibly a lot. He also says, yeah, but, and then you, he said, you laugh at your own jokes a lot. I was like, yeah, dude, you got the basic gist of the podcast.
Yeah. I would say allegedly, but that's the smoking tires phrase.
Mm-hmm. I like the way, Matt Farah looks like the guy you would really want to sit down and have a beer with.
Yes.
Now, the original USA Top Gear was Adam Ferreira.
Uh-huh.
Something
Rutledge Wood and Tanner Faust.
All right, so it was funny because...
And of the three of those, I'd only heard of Adam Ferrara,
mm-hmm.
who in turn has a podcast and is fantastic.
Yes, so it's funny because there was on VinWiki, there was a story about Top Gear USA about one of the camera guys, or the camera guys was telling the story. He's like, you know, he goes, I was with there, and he's like, really, he said most of the time it was really fun. There was this one, a couple times it wasn't, and I'll tell you about that. He goes, Adam Ferreira, really nice guy, super cool to hang out with. Rutledge Wood, also a really cool guy, super fun to hang out with. And Tanner Faust. And then that brings me to the next point. And he said Tanner Faust in person is one of the biggest fucking dicks you'll ever meet. Just one of the biggest, like, where's my trailer? He's like, you don't get a fucking trailer. Like, no, I need a trailer right now or I'm not going on. Like, shit like that. Like, really?
Got you a flatbed.
Exactly.
We got you a car carrier.
Well, he said
it's
he has
2 wheels and a platform.
Well, he said the guy...
Enjoy, you princess.
He said the guy has no mechanical sympathy. Like, they do the cheap car challenges. Mm-hmm. He's like, Tanner was out there, like, with the fucking backhoe, like, smashing up the car he was supposed to be driving. And then they were like, we have to drive these cars tomorrow. He's like, oh, y'all fix it if it breaks. Like, yeah, this guy was a tool. He was probably...
See you next Tuesday.
Yeah, that... But, you know, if you look at him, the way he looks like a douche. And then, to borrow a line from you, too, his name's Tanner.
Yeah. Do you make leather?
No, but I collect it.
At least in tiny guitars. That's really cool.
It really was. And
this is a really lovely time for this non-visual medium. So those watching, he's holding a tiny leather guitar made in Italy,
mm-hmm.
courtesy of his in-laws.
Yes. And they were like, "Oh, it's a keychain."
Hey, Ken and Ramona,
you're not listening to this.
Nope.
This
can't, won't, and shouldn't.
Yeah, well, I talked to my mom about it, and she's like, "Well, I listened to a little bit." She goes, "You guys are really good. You know, you guys are really funny." She goes, "But boy, it's really filthy." I was like, "Yeah, that's you know, but
shit."
I said, "There's worse things to be, Mom." She goes, "I know. We have 4 very smart children and blah blah blah." It's so funny to talk to my mom about shit like that. It's like, your youngest son's going to be 34 years old soon. How does that make you feel? I talked to my pops at Christmas. I was like, "How's it make you feel that you're 73?" He goes, "It's fucking old." How do you think it? But he's we always called him Superman because he always worked 2 jobs. He's always been, but now
Christopher Reeve was one of the answers on Jeopardy the other day during the, I like to call it the Jotes,
mm-hmm.
the Jeopardizers of all time.
Yes.
So it was Vegas Boy with the creepy grin.
Yeah.
Ken Jennings and Brad, who won the most money.
Right.
Meanwhile, Brad's getting murdered. Spoiler alert.
Just because you won the most money doesn't mean you're going to beat Vegas or Ken Jennings, because in Vegas, The house always wins. And Jennings, I don't know. He was just fucking brilliant. Just the way he came,
well, Jennings seems like a mad decent dude too.
He does.
Vegas boy, the Joker grin, I really find creepy.
Yeah, even when it's on purpose, it's creepy. And when it's by accident, it's even creepier. You could say that about a lot of things, though.
Come on, Mazda, circa 2012.
Or at the first TL Acura. Jesus, the beak. The beak in the ground. And then they subdued it.
I kept calling that the rejected Transformer.
I am so in love with Radwood. Because it's the cars we grew up with. And I think the older I get, I'm like, I don't care about, the interior has cheap plastic. I'm like, so what? The Jeep has plastic everywhere, and it's not a rattle trap. You've ridden with me a bunch. What do you hear in the Jeep when you're in there? You hear
tire noise,
exhaust
noise,
and engine noise.
It is all normal things.
You do not hear squeaks, no rattles, no nothing. It's just mechanical parts.
It is proof you got what they call a Wednesday car.
Mm-hmm. I don't understand that.
You never heard that phrase?
I haven't.
Typically, the idea is that Wednesday is the best time of the week for the car makers to make the car. As the weekend's approaching, they're getting ready for weekend, going and getting hammered Thursday, Friday, off for the weekend, and then Monday, Tuesday, recovering from said weekend. Wednesday is the time they're on their mark. Everything is good to go.
I like that, and I've never heard that before. By the way,
I don't remember when I heard that. It could have been on Car Talk, for all I know. Back when there were still two of them.
Dadsky.
Rest in peace, Maliotzi.
Yes. Dadsky loved your saying you told me. Dadsky is my father-in-law. Dadsky loved the... I call him that too now. I think he likes it.
I don't remember saying that, but you're welcome, Ken.
All right. About your... please schedule your car's preventative maintenance, because if you don't, it will schedule it for you. I'm
looking at you, timing belts and chains.
I need my heat. I noticed my heat when I was coming to a stop was blowing cooler, and I was like, "Well, I don't think it's a heat core."
Never had that happen ever.
Really?
Air conditioning going out, seen that happen a time or three. But
yeah.
Heater going out.
All right, so here's the thing. In every car, it's a very normal thing. When your coolant is low, your heat blows cooler when you're at idle, because you're not at speed and your coolant's it's running through the cylinder head, but not all the way, especially if your thermostat's closed. So when you're moving and everything and the car's up to temperature, especially in Jeeps, which run 195 thermostats from the factory, which everybody says 180 run cooler. No, Jeeps are made to run 190 degrees to 210 degrees. They just are. You get the best fuel mileage and everything from that.
Quick, what's the metric?
I'll get back to you on that.
70s, 80s.
195 is 92 in Celsius. Yes, I knew that. Only because it says so on the bottom of the thermostat that I just bought.
Hey!
But I went to, evidently, there's two different, the thermostat has the jiggle valve in it. You've seen thermostat before, haven't you?
Yeah.
All the aftermarket ones don't have that. The idea behind that is, I believe, that prevents, if the thermostat sticks open or closed, it will still let coolant through to cool the engine so you don't overheat it. So aftermarket thermostat, $9. Thermostat from Jeep, $30. I got the $30 one from Jeep because I figured this was the original one. They had it in stock at Kevlar Jeep Chrysler Dodge on Independence. I went in there.
I sure would hope the official dealer would have parts for that.
Yeah, but it's 23 years old now. It's a 23-year-old car.
Still see them out there.
Well, that, and they ran the 4-liter in everything in the Wrangler till 06. And I would be shocked if it had a different thermostat than my Cherokee. I'd be absolutely... It's got to be the exact same engine. It's got to be.
Yeah, I think by 06 going into 07, I think emissions regulations changed.
Yeah.
Which spelled the demise for that engine and my go-kart engine.
Mm-hmm. Well, they don't make that. They don't make the 1.8. They didn't make the 1.8 after that.
It was still there was still the 1.8, but the lesser one that kept going. I think derivatives of it are still going today, but it's no longer 1ZZ. It's now like the 1XZ or something. But it's like there's still a 1.8 liter in production, but only in the low spec new Corolla sedans. Everything else is now a new 2 liter that's more powerful, so it's 170 instead of 130 horses.
Yeah, but it doesn't have that screamy nature.
No.
Which means it's worse.
Yeah. There is some merit to the good old days. There's a lot of detractors to the good old days, but they do have their moments.
They do. I mean, the fuel efficiency's way better now. I will. You know what I'll say? I think transmissions peaked in the mid 2000s.
Once Sticks got their 6th gear.
Sticks got a 6th gear.
And
then Automatics got a 6th gear also. 5th or 6th, that's fine.
And now they're up to 8s and 10s. And now, folks, especially when you have the selectable automatic, it becomes a bit much. You're about going to need to bicycle it, so you've got a high range and a low range on your automatic gearbox.
Yep.
I can only imagine what that steering wheel flappy paddle setup is. Like, all right, so this one's going to be the front derailleur. This is going to be for rear derailleur.
No, they have flappy paddles on the left and right, and then for high range, it's on the top and the bottom at 12 and 6.
Goodness.
But
all right, does it stay with the wheel, or is it going to be set in place? Because that was also a big point of contention. That typically it's all steering wheel mounted, so typically you're changing gears when you're going straight. But does it steer with the wheel, or does it stay in place like on the column?
As a valet person, you have driven way more cars than I have.
Uh-huh.
I've never, ever, ever, ever driven a car with paddle shift, not once. And me saying that, I'm going to say that if I were on a racetrack and I'm driving, I would rather the paddles move with the steering wheel, only because it would. If I'm in mid corner, I don't want to take my hand off the wheel and shift. I would rather just keep it on there. And anyway, but if you're coming to a really sharp turn anyway, you're going to be downshifting.
For all the racing you're doing, your BMW X3.
Woof. God damn.
For being such a small car, it sure is heavy.
I think Sean actually bought a Wednesday car, didn't he?
Yes.
The only reliable BMW M3 convertible that's ever existed. But anytime
it's also from a simpler time as well, like pre E92 V8 that is beloved if still finicky.
Mm-hmm.
Or before, let's turbo all the things and risk meltdowns.
Our favorite car YouTube reviewer with a monotone voice did Savage Geese. He did. He said he's talked to engineers before. It's like, do you have plans to update the software and the infotainment? And they're like, no. And the reason, because most new cars are just built as disposable. They're supposed to run as good as possible for 3 or 4 years, and then they don't care after that, because most people who buy high-end luxury, or not even, I'd say mid-range luxury car, regular cars now, they want cameras, they want Bluetooth, infotainment, and I don't care. I fucking don't.
Meanwhile, the aftermarket touchscreen Pioneer that started life in the second Tacoma, that's now in the dash of the Ponyoda, is pushing 7 years. It's still going.
Mm-hmm.
It's still a bit finicky that every so often it'll default to where it was the time before I started the car last.
Yeah.
But it's still going. But yeah, I had no interest in the $300 GPS module or the $300 Bluetooth module on this, at the time, $300 DVD and USB compatible head unit. So instead put the bypass in, so if I needed my passengers to watch a DVD while driving, they can.
Yeah.
or a $5 Bluetooth adapter from Five Below, one of my other beloved cheap shops.
Mm-hmm.
I've got Bluetooth capacity. Since headphone jack into phone or tablet, even that's not perfect enough to keep it running reliably, since, say, my beloved Podcast Addict app will automatically stop, or Spotify will stop with the headphone removed or being detected as being bumped improperly. Yep. So doing that wirelessly and on the cheap, so half of the interior of my car looks like the Back to the Future DeLorean.
Hear me out, though.
So got to make it colorful. It's a green wire and a blue wire. It's like, there's a couple of black wires running up the side of the pillar.
Once you go black wires.
Get a green and a blue one.
Hear me out. Like, I think if I'm a modern car, I don't know if I even put navigation in a modern car.
You're a modern car? When did this shit start?
So if I'm running Nix Holt vehicles, which would be an awesome car company.
I get billing rights? Oh, dear.
Yeah, all manual transmission. Boy, we're going to sell 5s of cars every year.
Yeah.
But I don't put navigation in any car. Every phone has navigation now. It updates. It always updates.
The best workaround for that has been the Google CarPlay, Apple CarPlay, whatever have you, that links to your phone to mirror your screen, your phone's capacities on your head unit, since then you've got hopefully a larger screen on which to do this.
Yes.
My dad's got an aftermarket Pioneer in his Camry, and I tinkered with that briefly to see if it works. Cool. One of his big gripes about that, though, is it's wired into the head unit. The head unit doesn't offer enough amperage to keep the phone charged well enough to support this. It's an S7, and in dog years, it's dead.
Yeah.
So the battery's a bit crap. So like, yeah, this is really cool until the battery dies.
Right.
So then you have to go back to your 2-amp charger to plug the phone in. Then, like the rest of us oldies, just watch it on your still 5-inch screen phone. Not bad.
Yep.
A lot better than now it's been a decade since I bought the Zune HD.
That saw me lost 20 pounds listening to that Zune.
It didn't watch anything that had no cameras. It had no motion trackers. It had no Bluetooth. It was really neat at the time, but looking back, like, I don't miss it.
No.
It was... There was no app support. The software used to update it was garbage. It was a really neat idea at the time, but it had the screen the size of half of this beer label.
Yep.
It was tiny.
Yep. But I just don't see the need for having a nav system. Now, your Apple CarPlay and your everything Droid compatible, all that stuff you're talking about, it's a good idea.
They keep talking about Android head units for cars. If you were to be able to have something that is, say, an Android OS, but if it's on Wi-Fi, if it's on 4G, if either it's got its own SIM card, or if it's hotspotted off your phone, and then could link to the internet that way, or if you're using Here and Now maps instead of Waze, instead of Google Maps, Here supports offline mapping. And you can download it nation by nation or state by state. So if you're only, going around the Carolinas and Georgia, you can only get that 700 megs of data, and then you're set. And if you go off territory, all right, well, plan ahead, download the maps, you'll be good.
Yep. This is a weird time to be a gearhead and all that stuff.
It's a lot to keep up with.
Yep. I told you I was going to put an aux jack in the Jeep, but I have to piggyback into the stock wiring harness.
I still have a cassette adapter for you.
I like the cleanliness. I don't want the wires. Like I need the cleanliness of. And the thing is, I have my soldering
run a
iron.
single wire from that like into the dash. Like, all right, it's just that one line going into there. You could have it pop back out somewhere beneath.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to show you my idea later when we go eat Mexican food. But we didn't even get to the beer. 20 minutes later, after deciding we were going to do beer news.
20 minutes after last time you said 20 minutes.
You need beer, don't you? Are you out? You have some left. We'll be fine.
I've been running my trap a bunch, so we're good.
Same here. Like we're on beer like 2.5 by now. But beer news: legal pot in Canada is taking away from beer consumption.
Come on, crossbuzzers, get your shit together.
It's down 4%. And by the way, every time I've allegedly tried marijuana, I've also had booze, because when I'm with people that I know, which are all craft beer enthusiasts, much like you would call a porn star a sexual intercourse enthusiast, I've been drinking, and drinking comes that. So I tried edibles one time, stone dead sober, while playing Gran Turismo, and I still won the race. So I don't think it did anything for me.
What, you didn't get the paralysis?
No, I didn't.
That was a fun beach trip.
I did not know.
I can't wait for Molson to come out with the CDXX.
Go on.
I think that would be 420 in Roman numerals.
Oh, that's right. Oh,
Instead of the Molson Triple X that I kept calling bottled Canadian porn back in the day.
Yes.
A 7.3% beer.
That was unheard of, too.
At least around here at the time in the mid-aughts with the pop the cap legislation in August of 2005. Which was real funny having that happen a month after I joined the Saucer.
There's something very interesting about beer. Like, all right, so say it's 2005, and you can't get a beer over, what was the cap? 6. But you can go to the ABC store and get Everclear, and it's 195 proof.
Different regulations.
That's so fucking weird. It's the same ingredient.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same process of...
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Jesus.
Just different means of acquisition. That you've got your 3 varieties of alcohol, and it's all handled differently here. Like in this state, you can get your beer and wine in the stores, and your liquor at the ABCs, like grocery stores, convenience stores, whatever have you.
Yeah.
And ABC stores are all liquor.
Yep.
Other places, it's handled differently. You could find a place that's selling all 3, but your grocery stores carry nothing. Or some places will carry all 3 of them.
Mm-hmm.
Or, South Carolina ABC, that you can have a Costco with the liquor store that's got the house brand, say their Kirkland Irish whiskey, which, it's a lesser variety of this guy, but the same price.
Right.
I really enjoyed that one. Too bad Greenville and Charleston are a long way from here.
Depends on who's driving.
Still a long way. I didn't say time.
I'll be in Charleston in May playing a show.
Hey!
At Holy City.
I always found their shirts amusing.
Yeah, very.
Holy sit.
Yeah. Seems like I was going to say something, and I already forgot it.
Pot versus beer in Canada.
Shit, I don't fucking remember.
That's why you wrote it down.
Yeah, we'll move on. So the sales of non-alcoholic beer are up, as well as low-calorie beer options, trying to gain back sales from hard cider and kombucha. That was 2 different topics.
I keep seeing these ads for Heineken 0.0.
Ugh.
And doing the convertible, rolling up with a glass beer bottle in hand, and the cops giving him flack.
Yeah.
You know, the 0% beer. Maybe don't tempt the police like that.
Yeah. You don't pull on.
Don't
tug
I
the
would
lion's
assume
mane.
Not have a Reed's ginger ale in their glass bottle either. Anything that looks the part, don't.
You're an asshole if you do shit intentionally just to fight with police.
Don't read the red cape in front of the bull.
Yeah, because he's wasting 20 minutes of his time pulling you over when he could be pulling over somebody who actually deserves to be pulled over, like somebody driving 50 miles per hour in a 60 zone in the left lane. That person needs to be pulled over. NA beer reminds me of masturbating versus sex. I don't mind masturbating, but I'd rather have sex. NA beer is masturbating, and beer is sex. So beer is better. Well, I mean, I know masturbating is beer. Masturbating is sex with yourself, but
I would say dry humping, but whatever.
Dry humping too. And kombucha can go take a fucking hike. I've tried. Like, we have a lot of kombucha at work too, and anybody that asks me, what does it taste like? I'm like, it tastes like if you took somebody's sweaty gym sock and then squeezed it out into a glass and carbonated it. That's what kombucha tastes like.
No, I've got acid reflux, and I have taken generous swigs of apple cider vinegar to mitigate this. That's preferable.
Yeah, because at least you get apple.
It's definitely more vinegar.
Yeah, it's vinegar cider apple.
Red wine vinegar isn't shabby, but it's more expensive.
Well, I was going to say it's probably not good for that.
ACV is taken off for remedying that since it tastes less bad than, I don't know, drinking straight up malt vinegar, white vinegar. It's, but my tolerance for that is still stronger, so I dislike kombucha less than you may, but yeah, it's still bizarre.
I would rather get my next paycheck in pennies and have my paycheck be 1 penny less than I was supposed to make than drink kombucha right now.
You don't have to count it. Coinstar that shit.
My dad...
What you do is take your wheelbarrow full of pennies to the Lowe's Foods in Harrisburg. Local reference, y'all.
Mm-hmm.
Last 2 times I've tried to turn change into an Amazon gift card, it didn't function as such. So instead, it would take all my change and then give me a dollar amount. And because it's not able to process it, you'll have a $0 fee Coinstar gift receipt. Take it to guest services. They'll handle you.
Every day he's hustling.
It's been funny because now it's twice, and then the third time I went in with more change, like the machine's just down. Like, oh, they figured it out.
Next time you have change, just bring it to me and we'll go to Fifth Third, because if you have a Fifth Third account and you go to the one in South Park, they have a free Coinstar.
Hey.
I know, because you know those big pickle jars at convenience stores?
Yeah.
So I had 2.5 full, completely too deep to the brim.
Well, it's pretty awkward that you put the coins in the jar with the pickle still in it.
That's fair.
Talk about liquid assets, but this is ridiculous.
It was full. 1, 2.5. 2.5 full of pennies. And by the way, if you want to know how heavy that is, yes. I had to get the security guard to help me pick up the 2 full ones, and I picked up the half one by myself. We went through
dude, you could roll them.
Ugh.
Come on.
Well, no, because we went through 14 bags at Coinstar because it kept filling up of pennies. And if you want to know what 2.5 foot tall and then half of a 2.5 foot tall pickle jar is in pennies, it's $400. It's not much.
For my high school graduation, my uncle gave me a probably 2-liter jar of change, and that's what I used to open my checking account back in summer of 2000, amounting to $190, a couple of paper clips, and a pair of nail clippers.
If they were silver nail clippers, though, you might got a little bit more for your money. I don't think Coinstar processes that very well.
No, I think these are the plain Jane cheap chrome things you always see that I left the power in my car and it rusted.
Yeek.
So I'm a little worried about leaving metal things in my car now.
The good part about owning Corvettes, DeLoreans, Uh, and NSXs is that they don't rust.
The bodies don't.
Shh. Steve, we're gonna have that wake and bake next.
Yeah. What are you framing your cars in, by the way?
Framing them in a not very well climate controlled garage. By the way, I did find.
It's not raining in there until the roof leaks, so that's nice.
I found several Skylines I like for sale. R32s.
So are you going for the Nashville, the New York City, the San Francisco?
Queen City, buddy. No, the R32s and the 33s are relatively reasonably priced. And here's the thing. The R model, like the
33 looks so much better than a 32, but apparently
so
drives the same as a 32.
You know what? Call me a hipster or whatever, but I kind of like the way the R33 looks over the 34. Only because it's a much cleaner, fluid. You know how I like my cars. I like my cars very like smooth, like the lines and everything. I don't like really weird, like the Ford GT90 concept car thing from like all the cuts and shit. Like
I always liked it, but it is batshit. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, so I found an R32. All right, here's the difference. So the GTRs are all RB26 motors. So this is a 2.6 liter inline six with twin turbos.
Famous engine that put it on the map.
But it also has the high cast system, which is 4-wheel steering, and it's an all-wheel drive.
What's up, Honda Prelude?
Yes. The GTST models are the 2.5 liter inline six, and they're single turbo, but they're rear-wheel drive.
Ooh, and less complexity.
Exactly. I was like, you know what? Like, it would be really cool because there's one for sale in Troutman, North Carolina.
What the hell, Statesville?
The blue one. I'll pull it up when I send you for the the Terrapin while I rant about it while you're listening to me. But it's got that really pretty Nissan blue. It's got that blue. It's rear-wheel drive. It's a stick. It's right-hand drive. Really clean example. 26.5. And it's single turbo. And the thing is, a lot of the Skyline guys that have the RB26 twin turbo, they convert to single turbo because it's just less to go wrong. Because I don't know if you've ever realized how hot a turbo gets, but
famously so.
In the StarQuest Club group, a buddy of mine had an infrared temperature gauge. And
those are so much fun.
They're cool.
Where's your incandescent bulb? Because that's my favorite thing to do is shoot. It's like, yep, this is why these things will burn the hell out of you because this is currently 400 Fahrenheit.
Yeah. So we went to the track, and a buddy of ours named Jimmy had a hood scoop cut out of his hood right over the turbo. And a normal Conquest, same turbo, same setup, went down the strip. They pulled back, and they shot it with the infrared, and it was 900 degrees, the temperature, the turbo was. And then Jimmy went down the track, same, the engine was up to temperature, came back, he shot it with 600 degrees with the hood scoop. 300 degree difference in temperature with the infrared. So imagine two turbos side by side. Imagine how hot that engine bay gets. Now, the single turbo one that's starting to call my name. It's not a GTR, but you can make damn good power out of a inline six made by Nissan. And, that, and with it being rear-wheel drive, you can have allegedly more fun with it, too. I'm going to pull that shit up. Steve, you want to grab
You'd hate to drive your fancy car on a rainy day, but...
Yeah, but I don't even drive it on a pretty day most of the time.
But that is where the fun lives. And, yes, so...
Let's do it's the tall bottle in between the two taller bottles and the double stack Ommegang cans.
There. Got it.
That one's I've never seen Terrapin do a special edition wake and bake before, so I'm extremely interested in this. I'm also interested in Steve's seriously sweet ass bending over like that. Smack that ass all on the floor. Smack that ass. I got to pull the website up. Let's see. Oh, let's pop this top. That was very loud.
Sure enough.
God damn.
It's not exploding, so that's nice.
Steve, tell everybody a little bit about what we're about to imbibe.
What we got here's the Terp Reserve 2019 Cinnamon Rolled Wake and Bake Coffee Oatmeal Imperial Stout. Cinnamon Rolled, roll apostrophe D, y'all. Wake and Bake packs flavor and aroma of fresh brewed coffee and freshly baked cinnamon rolls to start your morning off in high gear. We believe that breakfast is the most important meal of the day, so why not poping a bottle?
Popin?
Poping a bottle,
Remind me to tell you a funny story.
and fire up your day with a Wake and Bake. Cheers from Spike, brewed with Jittery Joe's.
Jittery Joe's? I've heard of that before. I haven't had any of their stuff.
I've heard of that too, and I don't recall how and where.
You want to hear a funny story about the Pope?
Why stop now?
Cool. In our world history class, and ironically enough, the guy who pointed this out was named Tanner. Tanner McSwain, actually. Very nice guy. His dad's very strange. But he pointed this out, and we all got the biggest fucking laugh because I also had Spanish with Tanner. And there was a part in the world history book with it was about the Vatican City, and we were on the Italy part. So the lady had a sign held up. It was like the caption said, "A local woman greets the Pope," and the sign said, "Amo la Papa." All right, here's the thing. In Spanish and Italian, la Papa is not Pope. El Papa is Pope because the Pope is male.
Yeah.
El Papa, Amo El Papa is I love the Pope. Her sign said, "I love the potato." It was in our world history books, and nobody caught it but Tanner. and every now and then I'll think about that, and I know that shit was bordering on 20 years ago now, and it's still hilarious. Because I too, Steve, love the potato.
Sure.
But you know your stomach thinks all potatoes are mashed. Did you see my post yesterday?
Which one?
The glue and rifle.
That reminds me of something I saw also within the last 24 hours of guy glued his hand to his book as he's writing his autobiography. Well, the story, and he's sticking to it.
There we go.
Oh, she pretty, y'all.
26. Bayside Blue is the name of that blue. That is so pretty. It's got the GTR front.
How much Save the Bell have you watched?
It's got the shaved GTST emblem on the back. It's got the it's very pretty. Like even the interior is in good shape. It's got 70,000 miles, which is 120 something thousand kilometers. But no, I mean the interior's clean.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think that's a good idea for that price. And get the rear wheel drive. By the way, with the turbo swap, boost controller and engine management system, those cars are cranking out like mid 400s. It's ridiculous. That's my next good idea. I've got plenty of them. I will be listening. Sorry to play footsie with you. I'll be listing the S2K for sale soon. I just got to get like better pictures of it. I just don't have any good pictures. You tried it without me. That's okay.
Gotta make sure you're still gonna like it.
Oh my God, That's good.
Blaze Dreadful.
Is that a Hall of Famer though? There's a lot of good stuff in there.
Mm-hmm.
I would say yes, but we're running out of Hall of Fame room.
Just get a bigger
Hall of Fame
table. Yeah,
a bigger Hall of Fame. More beer news, Steve.
Okay.
This has been a very freelance episode, but a very fun one. Colorado's Boulder Beer Company closing on January 18th after 40 years. 40.
Oh, dear.
Not 14, not 4. 40 years. They are closing.
It was already strange that Scott's just stopped distributing here.
Well, evidently, like 2 weeks ago, they decided they were going to stop distributing, and they were just going to brew at their brew. And then I think they just now just said that they're done. I don't know if it's that competitive. I guess it's that competitive. But they've been there 40 years. You'd think that would be like old Mecklenburg closing here, which would be unheard of.
Which was 10 years ago. They started the Charlotte craft beer boom.
They did.
My first Old Meck was served at the Waldhorn, the local German restaurant.
And I bet it was Old Meck Copper.
Yes, it was.
And I'll bet you...
They're first and their best.
I bet you it tastes exactly the same. I don't know. I think their best is Fat Boy.
That's a good one.
But I don't think... Is that a staple or is that seasonal? I think it's a staple now.
I think it's
At the brewery.
Yeah.
I don't think they distribute...
Say what I'm trying to do here. Yeah, I think it's at least available at the brewery. They will sell you the Copper and the Captain Jack in stores, and Captain Jack will never be good.
No.
I just never like that one.
Nope. I've also...
And they stopped doing the 3-pack of Bombers for fridge space concerns.
Yes.
So it's now all 12-packs of 6-packs of 12ers, because that's normal sized.
What's the weirdest pack size you've ever seen on booze? Because I've seen a 15-pack and a 30-pack.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not that strange.
I've seen pictures of a 99-pack of way lesser boozage for your tailgating needs.
Yeah.
I can only imagine how heavy that's going to be. It's like, all right, well, there's that many gallons and that much aluminium and that much cardboard in this thing that's going to break your shoulder if you try to boombox it, or let alone if the cardboard will even support the weight of its contents. You know, just because you can doesn't mean you should.
Have I told you the fun story about boomboxing? So, do you remember in elementary school when you had field day?
Uh-huh.
All right, so we were allowed...
Red Rover.
This is a dangerous fucking game over. I asked the teacher if I could bring a boombox and listen to music for field day, and they were like, yeah, that's sure. I got in trouble. We were listening to...
Two Live Crew.
The old, well...
Not far off.
Well, no, actually, it wasn't even that bad. And it's funny to listen to look back on this, because this was like, Jesus Christ, 93, 94, and I brought the boombox with me to school. And we were playing I'll Make Love to You by Boyz II Men, and I got in trouble for that. How tame is that compared to now? Hell, how tame is it compared to Two Live Crew? It's so funny to look back on like what you would get in trouble for then. Like now, it wouldn't even pass. Like if you wore a shirt with an expletive on it,
song.
Yeah, they would make you flip your shirt inside out, and it's so ridiculous. But that's my boombox story, and I'm sticking to it. Philadelphia.
Thanks, John Cusack. You're a pal.
Thanks. Philadelphia's Dock Street, not Duck Street, quack. Dock Street Brewing has brewed their first beer using only drones. Now, they didn't grind up the drones to drink. They used the drones to, like, drop the... Now, I don't know why they did it, but it was in the craft beer news. Seems like an unnecessary step. I'm glad you think so. Now, Steve, I think we need to make a road trip to Green Bay, Wisconsin for Copper State Brewing's release of their chocolate coffee peanut butter nitro porter.
Do you have your Viking helmet ready?
No, we need to have a cheese head with Viking horns on it.
Ooh.
That would be so... I don't know if they would be mad or like they would love us forever, depending on where you go. What if it was half cheese, half horn?
It's something rivalry. It's
well, look, okay. So if you want to, since you're not the football fan and you're not the sports fan,
I keep cheering for the Strikes.
Well, look, the NFC North is the Lions, the Bears, the Packers, and the Vikings. So what we need to do is have a bear mask with a lion mane, wearing a cheese head that has horns on it.
That's a lot of dung.
I'm gonna tell Mr. Head about that and see how he likes it. Because I'll be honest, that would be the best possible NFL theme mashup you could get.
Let's see, and other Ben and Rachel and my future father-in-law. Yeah, we can cover all the things to offend the everybody.
Yeah, because future father-in-law is Vikings.
Yeah,
I remember that.
He grew up in New York and somehow decided he liked the Vikings, and he really hates the Packers.
Nobody else is a purple people eater.
He's really creative. He's like, the Fudge Packers. Like, it's the only publicly owned team in the NFL, so they're at least corrupted a bunch.
That is true. So, New York...
Allegedly.
Yeah. New York State wants to double the beer tax, but give it to every college. And I say, take some of my money.
Okay.
I'm okay with that. Education.
Saranac going to a good cause. All right.
And 6 Point.
Southern Tier.
That too. By the way, Andy,
would that affect here? Probably not.
Why haven't I leaped yet?
Southern Victory.
Victory. Andy said that Southern Tier in New York is a little bit different from down here, because he said down here it's more of like, it's so big. He said Southern Tier up there is not as big. It's big like sales-wise, but it's not, the tap room's not so massive. And he said you get a little, the flavors are a little bit different. He said because New York water does taste different, which is why New York pizza is supposed to taste different.
Yeah. That was one of the quabbles that Sierra Nevada had coming here, that they had to pollute the water going into the beer south of Asheville, because here the water's too clean.
Yep.
Suck it, EPA.
Wait a minute. That's who Emily's mother worked for before she retired. Was the
God.
EPA? Well, she retired at 55, so good to have a Fed job, I guess.
There was a time.
Start at 25, end at 55. Work your 30 years and sayonara, suckers. Or as my Bosnian employee says, see you later, fools. I've been learning several Bosnian phrases and stuff. It's such a pretty language. And by the way, I got so bored at work the other day. I was watching the history of the Yugoslav wars from the late 80s, like from the fall of communism till... There's no wonder
brutal.
There's no wonder he and his sister came here.
Yeah.
And it was, I don't know if you've watched much of it, but evidently Slobodan Milosevic was Serb, and the Serbians were less than positive people in the world. So they, like, the Bosnians were in the middle of the Croats, and here's your history lesson, everybody, and the Serbs, and like they were, like the Serbs were trying to overtake. And Samir would be like, "Yeah, I'd be walking to school, and tanks would be going by while he was walking to school." And it puts things in perspective. Like, he's seen so much shit, and in his years, and he's 44, so he's 10 years older than I am. But it's so crazy to, like, you think you got it bad. I mean, we don't have it bad here, but some people in charge like to make it that way. But, like, when you have actual tanks going by from opposing, and it's just ridiculous how fucked up everything was. But hello is Stravo. And let's see. Thank you is chvalati. You have to when, like, Hebrew. Chvalati. That's thank you. And I've forgotten all the other ones because I've drank too much. But
was it Zebga?
Oh, no, Yebiga. Yebiga is fuck it.
That's your new license plate.
Yebiga. There's quite a bit of Bosnia. Like, if you have somebody from a Slavic country in your area, they're probably not Serbian. They're probably Bosnian, Croatian. They're probably either Bosnian or Croatian. But yeah, because Serbian, they stuck around because they were the aggressors. But I told him the other day, I was like, Samir. He said, well, I said, izgledaš zgodna. And he's like, oh, thank you. I was like, you look handsome. We need to have him on here. It'd be great.
That'd be rad.
Yes. So, Charlotte's Catawba is opening the Blue Fork which will serve American food infused with beer.
Can we throw axes at it too?
I'll have to ask them about
next
that.
door to Charlotte's Catawba Brewing is the axe launching place.
Yes.
That I've never done it, but it sure looks fun.
You know what? I don't think it mixes well with craft beer. I'll be honest. The axe throwing, the food.
We'll have to use machine guns instead.
All right, that's fair. Oh God, somebody's calling me. Who is it? Thomas Blaylock.
369. Oh snap!
Thomas, you're on a podcast. What's up?
Oh, well, this isn't going to be a very entertaining question. Do you work tomorrow morning?
I do.
Can you give me a ride?
Yeah. Did the CRV fuck up?
No, it's at work, and we're taking care of Traveler. We don't really have a way to lay down, bud. We don't really have a way to get back there without keeping somebody to watch him, and I don't want to load him back up in the car again.
I'll be there about 6:25.
Okay.
All right, buddy. Let me know if you need anything.
Will do. Appreciate it.
Hi, Thomas. Bye, Thomas.
Later, Steve.
Later. All right, now I have to give Thomas a ride to work, and I'm going to forget about that, and I'm going to get to work, and I'm going to go, shit, Thomas isn't here. Oh, if only I had the technology.
If only you had, an ink stick in hand and something on which to write.
Yeah, no. I'm okay with it.
It's like, place your bets now. Can I get out of work before you need to pick him up?
Well, he is the assistant manager at the store I work at, but he'll never...
Oh, he moved from Plaza?
He's been gone for almost a year. He's at my store. He's the assistant manager at my store, which is
unaware of that.
Hilarious. I digress.
I'm going to need to make requests for markdowns then.
You can do that.
Dude, last I was at the one by the saucer, picked up sirloins for $5 a pound, and picked up a bag of Herrs, Herrs,
yeah.
Their barbecue rib ripple chips for 40 cents.
Nice.
And it was a big bag of it.
Yep. The sirloins are good, but the mamloins are tenderer. So what kind of food have you had infused with beer? We've had beer cheese soup. I've had beer battered chicken tenders and onion rings. And by the way, beer battered onion rings are amazing.
Yeah. Ever had beer can chicken?
Yeah, I did at a very redneculous party.
Oh, yeah. Somewhere I've got, I think, a cookbook surrounding that.
The beer food?
Beer
Basically.
food and or how to make a better beer can chicken. I need to try that one of these days.
Or let's make Thanksgiving more interesting. Tallboy beer can turkey.
Go on.
Fuck yes. But I'm thinking turkey's dry.
Too bad the only... You've not had my brother-in-law's turkey.
I have not.
Josh keeps smoking the turkey, and the results of that are fan-bloody-tastic.
Evidently, all right, so when Diesel from 106.5, when he was playing around the area, that's when I got my start playing and everything, and I was hanging out with him because he doesn't play live anymore. He's got a radio job.
So he makes less money?
No, he makes pretty good money. It's syndicated now. Anyway, I haven't talked to him in
Who's he,
years.
Big Rig?
I haven't talked to him in fucking years. But
fuck you, iHeartMedia.
He was saying that during Thanksgiving he would make the dressing and he would make it every year because he made it a lot thicker, so that when he got leftover turkey, he could slice the dressing like bread. Ooh. And then use the dressing as bread for a turkey sandwich. I was like, you're on to something there, buddy.
Ooh, that's fantastic.
Isn't it a great idea? Like, we need dressing bread. Dressing bread. That does have a good ring to it. What are we going to call it? Stuffing loaf.
No, dread.
Dread. Steve, I need to get your thoughts on the U.S. tobacco law.
Don't care.
Don't care at all?
No.
I don't care.
Like, smoking's been on a decline anyway.
True.
And boosting the age to 21 is still going to mean anybody who wants to smoke is still going to smoke. Either make it legal or illegal.
Yes.
Oh, darn.
All right, so
Sir, you're smoking cigarettes in public. Can I see some ID?
Like, no. If you're really that worried about it, chase people with a fire extinguisher.
That's true.
It's still going to put out a vape pen, too.
That's true. Here's my thing with it. If you're old enough to get drafted to go to a foreign country and fight, if you really don't want to...
You better be allowed to smoke and drink.
I think you should be. I think the drinking age should be 18, with a caveat. So from 18 to 21. All right, so it's legal to drink. In AJ's world, it's legal to drink and smoke and do any fucking thing you want to do at 18. If you have a DUI from 18 to 21, you automatically lose your license for 3 years. There's no lawyer. There's no nothing that can get you out of it. If you drive under the influence of any substance and you're a danger, it's a 3-year.
And then you can drive illegally, too.
And then, after that, you get your license back. If you get your second one, it's an automatic 5-year ban from driving. No driving at all. After your third one, you're done. You cannot drive anymore after 3 DUIs. Or as Dadsky says, if you get your third DUI, they should be allowed to scoop your eyeballs out, because that's the only thing that's going to really stop you from driving.
Yeah,
because they can take your license. You can still drive. If you can't see, you're probably not going to drive anymore. But that
reminds me of one of the more terrifying Top Gear episodes when they had blind man at the wheel and somebody playing, hey, do this, do that, stop, start, steer more, stop steering.
Or one person on the double-decker cars, the top person steering, the bottom person operating the pedals.
Yeah.
But no, I think 18, DUI, automatic 3-year suspension. You can't fight it or anything. You lose your license, you can't drive for 3 years. I think that's fair. Because 18, you're technically an adult. Legally, you can have sex, unless you're in Alabama, then it's 12. But you should be. It should be like that. How bad would you feel if you were 20 years old now? You just turned 20, and you'd be like, look, I don't like smoking, but unless it's cigars. But even cigars, like say you like to have a cigar every 3-4 months, and you're 20 years old, and now somebody told you can't. How shitty would that be? Like, it would be really shitty. Fortunately, you and I are so old now. The only thing I can't do is run for president, but you can. But we can rent a car, we can drink, we can smoke, we can do whatever the fuck we want to do. As we sip.
That's it, folks. I'm going to get in touch with Stevie Nicks. It's going to be a Nicks and Nicks campaign for 2020.
That's awesome. Your sponsor can be Twix.
Nicks and Twix. With the campaign strategy of, it don't matter, none of this matters.
Just say Smith again. There ain't no way you're going to pronounce that name.
Look, Betty White on SNL. What's her name? Jablonski. How do you spell that? S-M-I-T-H.
Emily was very happy to go from a Latowski to Holt. By the way, I've had Holt misspelled a couple of times, but most of the time it is
H-A-U-L-T.
No, H-O-I-T. They think the
Hoyt?
L is Hoyt. I got called Hoyt a couple of times.
Fuck you, Dutch.
Exactly. You and your wooden shoes and your regular pot-ridden shoes. Amsterdam
and your dams that last 400 years.
I thought about going to Amsterdam, but I think that would not be a good anniversary trip. Even though Stringfield lives there,
particularly. So like legal weed, good. Legal prostitution, awkward.
Yeah, that's true. But when Joe Rogan asked Matt Farah, I was like, "Why don't?" He's like, "LA's kind of shitty." He's like, "Yeah, I know." He's like, "Why don't you move?" He said, "Because sunshine's free and weed is legal."
He says that a lot.
I mean, it's true.
He's not wrong.
But to be honest with you, I've never visited LA, but going to San Diego and telling you a million times that I would live there. San Diego is what LA is, except it's 15 degrees cooler, 15% less busy, a little bit cheaper, and I didn't see one homeless person when I was in San Diego. Now, I know they exist, but the homeless population in LA has gotten astronomically bad. And evidently, I was listening to the Dr. Drew After Dark from your mom's house. Oh my God, it's so great. But all right, so without looking it up right away, he said the problem in LA now with with homelessness and everything is the rat population in LA is out of control. He said so. Rats get plague when the population of rats gets over like 800,000 rats in a concentrated area, and the population of rats in LA is like 8 million.
What's up, New York?
So when rats have that much power and they get plague, humans get plague. We know what happens when humans get plague. And the thing is, 2020 plague is probably a little bit stronger than circa 13,
I was going to say
1400.
13, 1400, yeah. 1320 plague, 1400, yeah.
But to be honest with you, wouldn't a plague in the world kind of help?
We're a bit overpopped.
You know, you can't put so much helium in a balloon before it decides that's enough.
Before helium decides, oh, wait, I can float freely away from here, too.
Yeah.
And now, go ahead, try to find your helium party balloons. That's getting more difficult, by the way.
It's not so bad, Steve.
You know what? That's why I don't want to go to Mars. We can't take care of the planet we're on. There's no way we can take care of a planet that we're not indigenous to. Unless you're Scientologist, and that's a whole other fucking thing. Have you read into that? Oh my God.
I regret having not bought a copy of Dianetics from the Wacko bookshop in Nodi years ago. That is now where beer shop / brewery in Nodi.
Salute.
Yeah, them.
Yeah.
That used to be a bookstore.
Really?
Yeah. I didn't buy Dianetics there, but I did get a copy of Private Parts. I think I made the better decision.
I think so too. How was Private Parts?
Fantastic.
Have you seen the movie?
Yes.
All right, so I've only seen like 50% of the movie. Is it watching the movie, will that get me enough of the book?
It doesn't differ too terribly.
Okay, that's good. Stern, by the way, is a lot more intelligent than you would think he is.
He's always been a provocateur without being quite the dickbag that the recently deceased Don Imus was.
Imus was kind of a douche.
Yeah.
And by kind of a douche, I mean on a scale of 1 not douche to 10 really douche, 7.5. 8 douche.
I saw pictures of Imus having passed. Like, holy shit, Trump died. Whoops. When did he get the locks?
Imus had the turkey neck thing going, where it was like old man neck that looks like a vagina. Like it's just not it's not a good look.
It was a nappy naked hoe.
It was, and my mom used to listen to Don Imus in the morning, only because she's like, well, there's nothing else on. It's either that or Rush Limbaugh. I'm like, all right, that's fair.
Have you heard of CDs, tapes?
This was a while
Anything
back, Steve.
8 tracks, LPs.
This is a while back, Steve. By the way, they're going to give me they're going to give me their old vinyl collection.
Ooh. You're going to need to steal a lot of milk crates.
Downstairs. I don't know you're not a big vinyl. I'm not a big vinyl guy, to be honest.
I'm more fascinated by the idea than a collector and enthusiast, much like Star Wars.
Yes.
Like I'm more entertained by the people entertained by this than I am. That said, I listen to the Vinyl Guide podcast, and that's always fun.
Yep.
Which is interesting when the dude there is an American now living in Australia.
Mm.
He and his family are safe.
That's good.
Which brings me to my next point. Outback Steakhouse really did not care for me ordering a steak well done in support of the wildfire suppression efforts.
That's great. I did see that.
Got a lot of groans on face space for that one.
Well, you could have just ordered it smoky.
They're not that fancy.
Well, he could
I'm
prevent
really
forest fires. You're welcome, Steve.
Here lies me, January 1st. January 9th. When are we?
It's the night.
This whiskey's working. January 9th, 2020. I'm dead after that one.
Aren't you sad you didn't think of that? Is there any left?
More
of this? There is.
Then you'll know.
All right, here you go. Here's some more. And by some more, I mean some more. I thought there was more than that, but
He's not on a podcast yet.
he?
Some more?
That's a she.
Samir?
Oh, Samir. Samora is a black female comic.
Did not know that.
No, remember, it was Greg Giraldo was the roast master. Samore's here, everybody. Some more when it comes to comedy. You should do some less. What do you want next,
A,
Steve?
didn't know, and 2, I miss that guy.
Oh, my God. I didn't know he had a law degree. Really smart guy. What do you want next? Whatever?
Yeah.
I've got whatever.
I'm not picky unless it's my nose.
Nice. That's going to get... Have you ever had the Southern Tier Nitro Hot Cocoa?
No. Maybe. Whatever.
We've had everything else back here except the chocolate peanut butter porter. There you go.
See that Rolling Rock can looking at me.
You brought that.
Yeah. Dude, that was a 30-pack for $18. It was awesome.
That was the 30.
That's like the best cheap beer out there. It's like, well, you've never been arrested, have you?
I have not.
A, don't.
Close.
2, when you are, make sure you have a bottle of that in your hand. Because the cop really respects your complete lack of self-respect.
Nice. 1, 2, 3. That was impressive since it's nitro. And that actually agrees with you. Look at that. Steve's got that point going. You peeked it out.
Oh, snap.
Oh, it's fine.
I won?
It doesn't mean anything on digital. When you peek something out digitally, it just cuts it off. See? Like it just hits the limit of 0 dB.
It made a noise.
It's the nominal 0 dB. The top line you see on each is 0 dB. That's the loudest something can get before it just clips it.
I think it's more like 100 dB. This thing's bad at math.
Steve, we're drinking a Blackwater Series Southern Tier Nitro Hot Cocoa Imperial Stout with cocoa powder and natural chocolate and marshmallow
What
added.
the fuck, Eric Prince?
Tink. Oh my God. That is so good.
Marshmallowy?
Yeah, let me. All right.
Yeah, that.
All right, so Emily's
dear.
home. She needs to try this. You keep the people entertained, Steve. She needs to try this. Keep them entertained, Steve. It's all on you.
Frankly, folks, I don't like the kind of pressure. Well, tell me. Well, it tells me to unleash nitro. Pour into your favorite glass or drink from this can. Plan B. Alcohol, 10% by volume. Color, black. Body, creamy, heavy. Bitterness, low to moderate. I'm going to go with low. This can is too warped to see what they want with volume. 9.6 fluid ounces, made with lactose sugar. Can't still want to read this, and hey, you're back.
Someone without feet is lactose intolerant.
Did she steal your beer?
She loved it. And that should tell you something. When Mikey likes it, it's a good fucking beer.
I just found that very baffling. It's like, my brother likes everything.
He's you. Does he like blue cheese?
I'll get back to you on that. I have yet to see if he's got such like of a taste.
Gotcha. So, Steve, you wanted to do a topic about the best music from 2000 till today.
And on that regard, it's what at least we liked. To hell with the everything else popular.
That's true. Because, look, at the start of 2000, you had post-grunge and boy bands were still a big thing.
And so was nu metal.
Nu metal was still
was
a big thing.
colossal.
Nu metal was colossal. I do think Korn is nu metal. You don't like Korn that much.
No.
I do. But like you had stuff like, well, Fear Factory was nu metal.
That was more industrial. They went
fair.
nu metal-y, but Demanufacture Obsolete, their two best albums were 95 and 98.
Mm-hmm.
They're still going, and much like many a band, it's like, well, just because you're still cranking out stuff doesn't make it good.
That's true.
Sorry, Queens of the Stone Age. You're also on that list.
Well, look, the longer things go on, regardless of the timeline it was produced or whatever genre, you're going to either alienate fans or people are going to say, this sounds exactly like the last shit we heard, i.e. AC/DC and Slayer. Whereas when Metallica does stuff and then they do something different and then everybody hates it and then 10 years later they're like, okay, that wasn't so bad. It's so weird. Like you either...
Oh, nothing else matters.
Well, you like thrash metal a little bit more than I do, right? So, but my favorite Metallica album is the Black Album. But I like sludgy, heavy stuff like Sad But True. I like stuff like that because I'm more of a grunge fan. But you're a grunge fan too, but you do like thrash more than I do. And Toby was the same way. Toby
It's
likes
kind of a
thrash.
force that around early June of 2006, maybe the 6th, I decided to metallicize what I'm listening to, and I'm still really thrilled with that. Meanwhile, lots of what I'm listening to now is more surfy, garagey. Like, if it's not actually from the 60s, something in the style thereof. Like, current favorite band is King Khan and whatever the hell that guy's up to, because if you have a guy of Indian origin from Montreal that sounds like he could have been with Dick Dale, it's going to be rad.
What in the curry French fries is this?
Holy fuck. Look up Taste Buds.
Interesting.
Like that song is incredible and filthy.
Right up my alley. Like Good Friends and a Bottle of Pills from Pantera. But like, do you get into any shoegaze stuff?
Yeah,
Okay.
Swerve Driver was my go-to
Okay.
because of Road Rash, the motorcycle combat racing game initially on the Sega Genesis, and then I think it was my 13th birthday party. I rented a 3DO, a pre-PlayStation CD-based video gaming system, because it had the earliest iteration of Road Rash with video clips and an all grunge soundtrack.
Yes.
So that was my earliest foray into Soundgarden and Monster Magnet. Never mind how much you don't like them.
I don't hate them. I just don't enjoy it.
The band Paul, they had their first and only
Paul?
PAW.
I thought this should
Paul. Nope, Paul. Like
like a
there are
our kitties.
12 of them around here. Yes.
Yes.
The only 2 good songs of theirs were on that. I bought that CD at a used CD shop and discovered, oh, no wonder these guys didn't make it.
Well, like Hum, it was
And
shoegaze.
yeah,
But Stars.
Some going to Mars.
Oh my god! By the way, the rest of that album, it's okay. Stars is awesome. I really like. I'd Like Your Hair Down is actually not bad. That's a good one, but it's a little bit more
I was
upbeat.
only aware of Stars and Mars.
Yeah, that was on a commercial
Are we
for a
expanding
car.
the title of the? I can only
Maybe.
imagine that would totally be a car ad song too. But yeah, like, welcome to the Car Stars, Bars, Guitars, and Mars podcast.
Maybe we should do a podcast at Greenlight Tattoo while I'm getting tattooed. Or at the tattoo shop. That wouldn't be a bad one.
Sure.
I think once we get the logistic, or once we get your laptop, you just need to like come over one night and we'll just have dinner or something, and grill out, and then we'll just install the software and see if we can get it working right, and then we'll do it on location.
Can we get this to work on a 9-year-old laptop?
Look?
Yeah.
How old is the shit you built for me very lovingly?
12-ish.
There you go.
Thanks, Bob. Yeah, this has been mad decent. I gotta hand to that.
Yeah.
And I'm sure I told you earlier, I do have a spare of similar spec
Well, the good
and or age.
the good part about this
Once
is,
again, thanks, Bob.
I'm not going to throw a lot at this. Basically, what I use this for is podcast, recording music, and looking at browsers, like looking at Google Chrome. Like, I don't download a whole lot of shit. I don't look at porn on this. I don't do like much of anything but music and podcasts.
And if you do, there's incognito mode. Wink.
Very fair, and that's a big screen. It's almost like I'm there.
That's a lot of Stormy Daniels.
You said Riley Reid awfully wrong. But no, I don't use, like, if I were a gamer,
No,
it would probably.
My birthday buddy, Aurora Snow.
I don't think she does anything anymore.
Nope.
By the way, Kate Kennedy was back on Dr. Drew's podcast. She was on your mom's
Not
house.
to be confused with the MTVJ that went off the deep end.
Yeah.
Woof.
Did you see who was on WTF Monday? And I listened to it while I was taping all
Capper and
that
Pitt?
off. Yeah.
Yeah, that was cool.
That was a good one.
Dude, everybody was really happy to be there. That was cool.
Today's WTF, Joe Montana.
That almost rings a bell.
He was on Criminal Minds, and
I'm sorry, I'm actively not watching your wife's shows.
all right. So Joe Montana has been on a lot of things. So
Like the main dude.
grew up in Chicago. He's Fat Tony on The Simpsons.
Oh, snap.
Yeah. So yeah, Joe Montana, very famous actor. He was on Thinner, Stephen King's Thinner.
Never saw it.
Oh,
If it's not Christine, I can't help you. Did I tell you about the dude I bought my current wheels from?
yes, but go ahead again, because
Find set of wheels that should fit my car on Craigslist a year ago. And go there, pick them up. Oh, Montagna instead of
Montana. His name's Montana. That's how it's pronounced.
Montagna. It's like Joe Montana, the footballer.
Right below Canada.
Which is right above Wyoming.
By the way,
Um,
I'll tell you a story in a second. Continue.
Had a Scion TC that was crashed and took the wheels off of it. So I got the wheels off that car. Well, he's got various other efforts and has an acre to play with.
Nice.
Has a shop and is looking to pick up a 57 Plymouth Fury and to get the front clip off of 58
Ooh.
to make a Christine tribute, to have nothing more than this, body restored car looking like Christine, to have this horrendous, like, glow in the dark demon of a car, like not a runner, but just to have this thing sitting next to his house. Like, This is an incredible idea and a creepy idea all at the same while. Well, good luck. I've got your wheels. I got the tires. They lasted a year. See you never.
Increepable.
Yeah. So for a good time, folks, stay off the east side of exit 103 off 85.
Well, you do know that when I bought the wheels and tire, I bought wheels and tires off of so the guy from what's the fucking place? Batcave, Chimney Rock. I drove it to Chimney Rock for the wheels I have on my Jeep
a better
now.
story.
Yeah.
The Aussie?
Yeah, the Aussie. Really nice guy. And for $300, I got wheels and tire. Like I like the wheels better now than I did because they look better. But that guy was super fucking. He's like, he had a Jeep and it was barely holding on to being running. But he's like, how much you pay for that thing? I don't do a good Australian accent. I'm not even going to try. He's like, how much you pay for that thing? And I told him, he's like, that's ridiculous. He said, I paid what you paid, and mine looks like shite, and yours looks great. It's just, okay. Hey.
Crikey, mate. You spent too much on the fucking thing. Yeah, anytime I'm trying to do an English accent, morphs into Australian, and it's less horrendous than me trying to do English.
If you say beer can in a British accent, it sounds like bacon.
Bacon.
In a Jamaican accent. Bacon.
Yeah, bacon.
Bacon.
Bacon. Bacon. Yeah, what's going? I'm gonna go eat some bacon as I'm drinking from a bacon.
Do we dare to do a 3-car garage 2000 to modern?
Oh dear.
That I think for
that would be way more time concise.
I think because picking the best cars from 2000 now is going to be
2000 through now, yeah.
Through now would be a little bit easier than picking our top versions. And music is going to be supremely suggestive because we're both big grunge heads. And we do like 80s, but see, I like Chevelle, Breaking Benjamin, Seether. I like stuff like that
said,
more
like,
than you do.
all of the stuff I've got picked out sound like stuff from earlier.
What'd you got?
Oh, hi, Greta and Fleet.
Greta Van Fleet.
Yeah. It's like, oh, good. It's like, it's a band that makes new Led Zeppelin.
I've never heard a Greta Van Fleet song. I know you could change that.
Do you like Zeppelin?
I do, but I like the hits. I haven't listened to much of
If you like the hits, you're gonna like them.
Okay.
This is when Michigan didn't fuck up.
What's your favorite Zeppelin song?
Black Dog's certainly up there.
Black Dog is high for me.
Or Moby Dick.
I like Ramble On.
Mm-hmm.
I
like the song more than the beer. Sorry, Noda.
Fair. I think for nostalgia's sake, I like Thank You, but only because Chris Cornell's version is so pretty.
Ooh.
Cornell covered that, of course. Did you see his cover of One from Metallica with the lyrics from Metallica's One to the music of U2's One?
That you said One, and my immediate thought was, covered U2? Like, no.
He did the music of U2 with the lyrics of Metallica's One, and it was great. It was really great. Oh, yeah. Although Mudvayne had a song called Negative One, but that would be in my top.
Not here nor there.
That would be in one of my top. Like, so if we're doing, let's do 3-car garage and 3 album from 2000 till now.
Okay.
All right. I got to write that down so I can remember this before my show tomorrow at No Brewing for their Captain Peanut Butter's Revenge release.
Oh, shit.
the music's slowed down for me a lot. I'll be honest, because a lot of places have either quit doing music or I've decided that, you know what, it's not really worth me driving an hour to 2 hours away for a show that's not fun anymore. Even for the money. Like, if it's not fun for me, I don't want to spend my time and energy doing something that's not fun anymore. That makes sense?
I'm still trying to leave a job that is absolutely all that.
Yeah, I mean, you get paid to do it, but like you don't. I'm not going to badmouth, because like the place I'm thinking about in particular, like they've been really good to us. They've paid us really good. The beer's good, but I don't want to drive 2 hours away one way when there's nobody ever there, and it's just not fun. I can't get up for it. Like, I know the people there that have fun, but I mean, if it were in town, it would be a little bit different. But it's getting a little bit harder to get motivated. Like, I'm excited for tomorrow's show at NODA because I know people are at NODA. Like, it's a busy spot, and it's just, I don't know. It's I want to play shows that are fun. I don't do it for a living, so I don't have to play those shitty shows anymore. So that's a good thing. It'd be like somebody asking you to do pro bono computer work and all the time, which I'm sure you probably fucking get. Although it might be from family, right?
Luckily, nobody's pushing theirs enough to break it.
That's fair.
It's just Mom's got a new laptop because she had Cat's old laptop, which is now pushing 15 years old. Like, this is the laptop Cat had at the end of college.
Because Cat's a little older than me, and Mikey's a little younger.
Uh-huh.
That's right.
Yeah, so that makes this thing 14, 15 years old, I'm imagining. Like, it still works. Like, it took that long to kill it. It's like, I remember I brained it and got it back up and running. It's like, yeah, it was good. Your mom a new laptop. Like, are you doing anything with that one? It's like, no, not yet. Just get the files off and see what happens. Nice to see they got better mileage out of that Asus laptop. Like, I love my tablet from them. This thing, the ZenPad 8-inch, that's now 4 years old and I haven't killed it yet.
Yep.
Never mind, it's got its moments like when you launch it out the window. But the AMD A10 powered one was the one I hated so much I shipped it to Japan.
How much was that?
$70 to rid myself of what had been a $400 computer. Sold it a year later for $250, and after hammering out the details of getting this sent to wherever, at least expressed to my customer, so to say, I'm going to need some more money to ship this. Well, they abided. It took a while, and luckily most of it was in lettering I could understand to send to the post office to send this thing as far from here as possible.
Japan is on my list of places I'd like to see. 'Cause we were thinking Ireland or Vancouver or Toronto, because we went to get passports Saturday, and I want to justify getting the passport by going to a different country. So that was the short list, because I want to go to Santiago, Chile.
Yeah, you're about to need a passport to travel domestically too, so what difference does it make?
Real ID, and I already got that too. But
yeah, I still got a fake ID.
I want to go to Santiago, Chile.
Which
but
feels really funny at 38.
Emily doesn't want to that much. She doesn't speak much Spanish, and I do a little. And there's not much, like, I want to go, like, there's places I would want to go with the spouse and places I want to go with friends. which is what I should have done when I went to New Orleans, is went with my buddies instead of my wife. Not that I'm going to cheat on her, but there's cities are, you understand what point I'm trying to make. New Orleans is not a city you go to visit with your spouse. You just go to have fun with your friends. Like Vegas. Vegas is like that. New Orleans is like that. I imagine that Amsterdam is like that. Yeah. But whereas Paris is like the couple's trip. And Charleston is the couple's trip. All right, you're on my team. That's good.
You can't hear me chair right now.
He's nodding.
I'm just nodding along.
He's nodding
all
along.
Of this.
With a TV on his shirt.
Feel it funner if they had
the knob was near the nipples. I was picking up what you were throwing down, sir. If we're doing a 3-car garage and a 3-album, 3-car for 2000 till now, I got my first album. My first album is Black Gives Way to Blue, Alice in Chains. That's my first one.
All right, it's Y2K to now.
Y2K to now. Black Gives Way to Blue was 09. Jesus, that was 11 years ago. Steve, I don't want to get old, but I'm glad I'm getting old with you.
Thanks, Adam Sandler.
Grow Old with You from Wedding Singer. I love The Wedding Singer. It's such a great movie. Have you got a first album for me?
Queen of the Stone Age, Songs for the Deaf.
02?
Yep.
Nice. By the way,
the 2000s quotes is either the strongest and most prolific, but this hits on all the Ford Taurus cylinders from the very beginning of that door dinging of the album.
Whatever you do, don't tell anyone.
That was off rated R.
You sure?
That was from 2000.
That was you made a Songs for the Deaf CD for me, and that song was like number 8 on there.
Whatever you do, don't tell anyone.
Yeah.
Well, I started keeping a secret. Yeah, secret.
Yeah. All right. So you made a Songs for the Deaf CD for me, and that was on that CD. I know it was because I only have one Queens of the Stone Age CD in my collection. By the way, everybody, a CD stands for compact disc. It's a little disc that kind of looks like a smaller laser disc, but it fits into your.
I explained to a coworker what laser disc was yesterday at valeting. Like basically, it's a shrunken DVD.
Yes,
and that's a rated R song.
Really?
Yeah.
That you put that on my Songs for the Deaf.
That might have been at the end of it because if I have a CD to make, if I still have 30 minutes to burn, you're getting extra shit.
You always did that for me.
Yeah, which is always driven everybody crazy. Like, I just want the CD. It's like, there's empty space. I must fill the empty space.
You do that.
Because I have so much empty space myself, I must make sure this 80-minute disc has 80 fucking minutes.
You did. You put that on there, and it's like right in the middle of my album. And so I always thought it was just on there.
Good song.
It's a great fucking song, so I don't mind. But I really like. I mean, obviously you say I'm.
You say I ain't worth $1, but I feel like a millionaire.
Yes, but I didn't realize that the bassist was the lead vocalist on that. But he since got, actually, a long time ago, got kicked out of that band for domestic violence.
Queen of the Stone Age has kind of had the Nine Inch Nails effect of, right, here's dude's project's name, and then here's everyone that played on it. So you've got your Oliveri and your Grohl doing whatever else.
Nick Oliveri, right?
Yep.
And he went off the deep end one night and beat up his girlfriend and then put a gun to his head and got arrested, and he's not in the band anymore. But he sang the lead on that song. In case you wanted to know.
Didn't know he was trying to harness his inner John Garcia with that one.
Jerry's brother-in-law.
The dude from Caius that sound like he's gonna peel paint.
Yeah. But it's a good song.
Yeah.
But it's weird to hear Josh Homme sing it now, because this is like, whoever knows could kiss the door. Give me some more. It's very weird. It's very... I don't know. It's like very karaoke. But
funny thing about having this massive group, and if you're not always the singer, if people want to hear what your band's done, you better figure out something. And now I really want to hear him doing that song.
It's awesome.
Fucking rad.
It's not the same, but it's like listening to a completely different song. I've told you before.
I know I can't do those notes.
I mean,
you
can once.
I like to sing like an amputee. Can't hold a note, can't carry a tune.
Don't have to live like an amputee.
Don't have to live like an amputee.
What are we going to have next, Steve? I'm running low. There's plenty to choose from.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to hit that Rolling Rock?
Sure.
We're going to split.
Split a rock.
Split a Rolling Rock. We're going to split a rock tonight.
This is going to taste like we're still thirsty.
We're going to be eating in 15 minutes.
Uh-huh.
It's only 7:30. I don't have to be at work for another 11 hours.
I got 2.5, which is going to morph into 5.
Well,
it's like basically like it's getting blunt from terms. Like it doesn't matter. Like get her at 10, get her 11:30. It's like, did I crank out 200,000 pages for you? Cool. Do I hate everybody for this? Yes. Especially this morning, it was like, oh good, let's have a tear out again. Turn of the year, 2 tear outs in the printer. What's that? I'm using a printing device the size of a school bus. This is the most needlessly sophisticated piece of shit ever. Like, the printer proper is the size of a short bus.
Mm-hmm.
It's just... They'll give you the diagram of what this thing looks like.
Yeah, and it reminded me very much of when my dad was in textiles, the...
looming process?
Yes.
Oh.
It's so big.
What? You don't need that much going anywhere.
Nope.
No.
Oh.
Especially like as these tear outs go on, realizing, all right, well, this roller's got gunk on it. Like, not a little bit, just this silvery aluminum roller is caked on. There's just lots of spin ink, which is another point of contention for something to stick to and mess up. Repeat, keep going. It's like, no, we need to clean this up. It's not an easy process to scoop that off. Like, it's all ammonia and Brillo pads.
Oy. So while we split a Rolling Rock, my second album of 3 album. Well, we have 3 Car Garage, but I guess 3 album. What would be the correct nomenclature for this? 3 album collection.
Your 3 CD player.
3 CD.
3 disc changer. Yeah,
3
that.
disc changer.
Like, I had a few of those.
Wonder What's Next from Chevelle.
Okay.
2002. The guitar tones, brutal, just fucking great. It was either close. It was close with that one, or This Type of Thinking Would Do Us In from Chevelle. But I think I would go. Oh my God! No, I think I'll go with Wonder What's Next. Maybe, I don't fucking know. Timeout. All right, so he's got to pay the water bill. You want to split a Rolling Rock, or you want to get a whole one? But I say we split a Rolling Rock. The NC State beer?
Pick your light beer.
I want a Rolling Rock. Jesus Christ. But be sure to close that door. I left it open for like 5 hours. No, the beer door. I left it open for 5 hours one day, and then now I don't think it cools as well as it should. Ah, well, it's cheap. Really, Steve's paying the water bill, which means he's taking a piss. So, I'm still on the job search, casually. Food Lion's still paying me well. Music's been good to me over the years, but we slowed down a little bit. We've lost some accounts. Some places have closed. Some places have stopped doing music. It's been a little bit weird. I've been a little bit depressed about it, actually. I'm used to being busy every weekend, and when I don't have any gigs, I get a little bit antsy, but trying to solicit some new accounts, trying to get my busy streak back up again. I miss playing every weekend. It's starting to affect my mood a little bit, to be honest with you. But the only thing I can do is keep on keeping on. I don't want to play shows just to play them. I want them to be fun. So that's the problem. There's places that want music and want us to play, and we've played there before, and it's just not that much fun. People don't realize by the time you load up your car with all of your gear, you drive to the venue, you unload, you set up, you warm up your voice, your fingers, you play 2 to 3 hours, you break everything down, you load it back up, you get paid, you get back in your car, you drive home. It's a 6-hour swing, and it's just not. It has to be worth your while at some point, and now I feel good that it doesn't. I don't have to sell my soul and just play these shows because I have to play them. I play them because I want to play them. Oh yeah, last of it, Steve. Tomorrow's not going to feel very good.
Let's start now.
Steve.
Tomorrow is the 10th anniversary of the Asher Green Demolition Derby.
Ooh, that's right. Steve, did you tell everybody about that?
No, but I could now.
After this. Ready?
No.
1, 2, 3. Nice. All right. Tell them about it.
So, 10 years ago, had an apartment behind the Flying Saucer, our usual watering hole, and woke up one morning to greet the neighborhood with a hearty fire truck. As notice, my truck is suddenly parked sideways, and so is my neighbor's car. They didn't collide in the process, though, which could have made things more awkward. But a drunk driver had hit our cars, hence the newfound generous damage to my passenger front end, and whichever back end of her car. Her Civic got totaled. My Tacoma did not.
Because taco truck.
It's a tough mudder bastard, and should have kept that instead of going broke on the 07. But
were you pushed to do that by us?
Oh, that was just on a whim.
Okay.
By the way, don't do that. Yeah, then it's like, no, I'm now pushing bankrupt because of it. Yeah, it's not good.
Well,
or just trash my 401k or IRA or whatever money I'm not supposed to touch for another 40 years. And it's like, I could probably do better as touching it next week.
Well,
anyway.
They have my company has a hardship fund where you can withdraw if you need. I'm sure yours does too.
They already got rolled over during the brief, ostensible unemployment period.
From Regulus to...
No, for me being fired then rehired.
Oh.
So to turn the 401k into an IRA, it's like, well, either way, I've turned 34 grand into 46 grand doing nothing. So that's cool.
I think you should look into.
Yeah, if I could not get hit by a 30% penalty, that'd be cool.
Well, fair.
But anyway, yeah. Neighbor's car gets hit, truck gets hit. I think I'm up a creek and a half. I've only got like the most basic insurance on this thing. So call my insurance agent, tell him what happened. Well, there's nothing he can do. A couple of days later, he lets me know. So I found a police report that matches what you told me. Where dude crashes Durango into aforementioned Civic and a Tacoma in this region, and then truck quits as soon as it hits Food Lion, so not even a block up outside the neighborhood. So we've got your guy. It takes a hot minute to get all that settled. Meanwhile, I'm just going through looking like, all right, I found this turn signal here. It's like, is that a Blazer?
Mm.
Oh, it's Durango, but that corner light was the only souvenir from any of this. So I'm just steaming for a hot minute. It's like, yeah, I can hear the truck resting at night for all I care.
Mm.
The passenger side door doesn't close well enough. The top doesn't seal. It's like, hey, it's raining. It's like, it's leaking inside my truck.
Nothing we can do about that. Post-apocalyptic.
Yeah, it's like, I wouldn't mind another one of those, but not really that one after that incident. But also to find an unmolested, unarrested one is tough now.
Yeah.
Probably like an 0304, one of the last of the last. One of the last of the last? Come on, Steve. One of the last of these small Tacomas.
Yeah, you'd be.
I miss the 97. I don't miss the 07. That was too much.
Well, you would be. To get a small truck now, you'd have to get early 2010s
I would have
Colorado.
I would have to cut the back off my car.
Yeah.
And then make it a truck.
Well, the Colorado you could get in single cab, relatively small truck. Even the new Rangers are fucking massive.
I noticed that earlier. The brand new Ranger looks like an 04 F-150.
Yeah. I've picked 2 albums out of the music. The car might have set sail actually for next episode.
It's all good. Well, we got car time in with the R33.
We did, but I've picked my 2 albums.
I gotta make sure this.
I got one more to go.
An idea.
He's got an idea, folks. It's hard to pick a whole album from 2000 to now though.
Yeah, until further notice. Arctic Monkeys.
What?
Whatever people say.
Is that the name of the album?
What? Excuse me. Whatever people say I am, that's what I'm not.
I have never heard an Arctic Monkeys song.
Go older.
Oh.
How
old?
This and before.
Okay.
Excuse me. This is their debut. So there's that. The album cover looks like Adam Sandler with a cigarette. And
I believe you.
It's rather good.
Interesting. That's your second.
Yep.
Good Jesus. Oh, good Lord. There's plenty of good songs, but All right. I'm confident in saying 3 album from O to O now would be Breaking Benjamin, and it would be Phobia. I know that was one with Diarrhea Jane, but it had one of my favorite songs ever was Evil Angel. Not to be confused with Burning Angel, which is a different thing altogether. But I would go Phobia. Have you ever heard Evil Angel? That's such a great song. It's about him being an alcoholic, and alcohol is his evil angel. Oh, it's such a great song. Steve's searching.
Greta Van Fleet from The Fires.
Another. Interesting. So you're saying what I need to do is listen to Greta Van Fleet.
Yes.
It's not a great band name, but
it's really strange that the band is 3 brothers from Michigan. But if you like old school Led Zeppelin, you're going to like them. I don't see the criticism in, hey, you sound just like those guys.
Mm-hmm. There's worse people to sound like.
Yeah. So long as none of them have a 16-year-old groupie, I think you're okay.
True. And even back then, it was a different time.
Yeah, but
it
doesn't make it right.
I dated a 16-year-old when I was 19. Didn't say I did anything with her. Just saying I dated. Yeah, but. Well, there's a difference between 16 and 19 and 26 and 19. That's a big difference.
Well, at least then it's both allegedly adults. 16 is in a gray area.
True. That was a good yawn. I even had a nap today. A completely undeserved nap because I didn't do anything today. Other than go and... I swear I do more running around on my days off than I do when I work. I had to go and get paint supplies for downstairs, and then I had to go get Jeep supplies because I got to do the thermostat. And if ever you find your... By the way, an hour ago we talked about this. If you find that your heat works when you're moving, and then your heat does not work that well when you're stationary, your coolant is low. So I figured if I'm going to do a coolant flush, I'm going to just go ahead and change the thermostat and the lower radiator hose that seems to be very, very slowly leaking that I've noticed. So might as well replace it while all the coolant's out of it. Saturday's going to be busy. I get to do that. I get to paint, and I get to have a plate party at Saucer. Yes, this Steve will be there for. And Kaylin? Yay! We haven't seen her in a while.
Saturday. Which would be good.
We miss hanging out with all of our friends. Because I feel like most of our friends don't even invite us out unless we have children now. All of our friends that have kids only invite the people who have kids out. And that's kind of BS, actually. But it is what it is.
Hey, want to come to a newborn party? We're watching nothing but Barney all night.
I mean, I love you and you love me, but...
Let's get together and kill Barney.
With I don't remember what it was. Well, it might be time for Tex-Mex, Steve. Are we working up an ape tit? I'm working up an ape tit. Number 50 is in the books. We were supposed to be on location, but Steve's had an even shittier schedule than normal, and my schedule's been all over the place with having to run back and forth to Raleigh and Cary and music and all that such. So 51, theoretically, will be on location. What do you think, Steve?
Job.
Don't we all? Well, the Steve job is...
This morning was very inspiring. Get the hell out of there.
I'm
Much
still
like
looking.
last time things went this badly this year. Like I said, 2020 makes me envy the blind.
Could be worse.
Professionally, it's rubbish. Personally, still quite good.
Yeah.
So, I only hope my medium can be happy one of these days.
Well, there's a reason that we all love you so much, Steve. We're all here for you.
Thanks, personal people.
Well, it's better than nothing. Well, I think it's time for Mexican food. Did you finish your third album? You did. You had two. You had An Arctic Monkey, Queens of the Stone Age, and Greta Van Fleet.
Yeah, them.
Okay, and I had mine. I just wanted to make sure you got your three in. Your three cars, you're going to have to wait for it. So, 51 will be on location, maybe.
Talked all about R33, so that derailed everything.
This was a very car-heavy episode, actually. And this is the first car-heavy episode since Mark. Because that was a very car-heavy episode.
Natch.
Core. Well, Steve, it's been fun. 50 episodes, almost 2 years in the making.
Yeah, the half-century mark, y'all.
Fuck yeah. Well, see you guys later. Happy New Year. I'm AJ.
I'm still Steve.
Steve, we're done. I'll see you later.
Good night, everybody.
Later.